Welcome back. If you don't know me again, I'm Bob Weber. I'm an educational strategist here at Grand Prairie ISD, particularly specializing in Algebra 1 and geometry. And this should be Unit 3-4A, which I know sounds odd, but what we've done in the past is split Units 3 and 4 up because they overlap into two different quarters. And we've also split them because the content kind of goes hand in hand. So this is called 3-4A. Let me share with you the slide deck. And again, I go to the Canvas course for familiarity. And here the slide deck. I want to go ahead and put this in slide mode. But what you're doing in 3-4A is we are investigating a little bit further now into linear functions with our students. So 3-4A, investigation of linear functions. And here we go. TEKS covered in the unit. There are three essential readiness standards. Again, essential readiness standards are the standards that Grand Prairie ISD has deemed most important to be taught. Basically, they're the ones that will promote future success for our students. And so they got to be your top priority. Your kids have to walk out of Algebra 1 saying they've got A2C, A3B, A3C. There are two supporting standards in there as well. Let's go to our TEKS breakdown so that we can talk about this and unpack them. Again, we focus a lot on the TRS guides for you if you have additional time. A2C, writing linear equations into variables. So this is the actual writing of the linear equation itself. The knowledge that has to be taught to the students, the nouns, linear equations, variables, tables of values, graphs, and verbal descriptions. The skills, basically you're writing two variable linear equations, XY equations, coming from a variety of sources, being tables, graphs, and words. Determining what the X and Y variables stand for and translating the words then into math symbols. That's A2C. A huge skill. A little additional information. A2C, of course, has been tested frequently, 12 times in the last 6 years. I will be adding the 2024 data on here, but you can see one of the most recent questions from 2023. A3B is also an essential readiness standard, calculating rate of change or slope of a linear function. Huge, huge, huge skill. Knowledge from that, rate of change, linear functions, tables, graphs, algebra, mathematics, and the real world examples. Calculating the rate of change from a variety of ways, from the slope formula, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, from slope-intercept form, being able to recognize B and being able to write in slope-intercept form, utilizing technology and linear regressions, especially with the Desmos or the Inspire, depending upon which calculator you're familiar with. And some of you do even do the 84. And of course, delta y over delta x for slope. So some additional information, examples of this. This has again been a heavily tested. I apologize, I did not put at the bottom, but I believe it's been tested 12 times in the last 6 years as well, an average of 2 per year. That's 3B. 3C. Let me pull my screen a little bit over. Graphing linear functions on the coordinate plane and identifying key features. Content that you have to teach: linear functions, coordinate plane, x-intercept, y-intercept, zeros, and slope. The skills is to be able to graph with and without technology, probably from slope-intercept form, especially because if you're using Desmos, or that's the easiest form in my opinion, to be able to graph by hand. Students have to realize the x-intercept is the same as a zero and the y-intercept. X and y intercepts are where they intersect the x and y axis. And of course, we've got determining slope from the previous TEK that we worked with. So a little additional information. Again, a very heavily tested, assessed subject. I apologize, I did not put that on here, but I believe, again, it's 12 times in the last 6 years, average of 2 a year. You can see a couple of examples from 2023. A2B is a supporting standard, writing linear equations by finding slope and y-intercept, or by simplifying using point-slope formula. This is a skill that I don't think we do a great job with, and we really do need to do a better job with. Conceptually, understanding how to use the point-slope formula makes life, in my opinion, so much easier on slope-intercept. So, a consideration for you. Examples from 2022. A3A, being able to rewrite equations, determining the slope of a line, rewrite equation to slope-intercept form, being able to determine the slope in a variety of ways. Some additional information. Oops, I'm sorry. And of course, our data on this. You can see some degree of consistency in our star data. I apologize. I think I need to go ahead and put the 2024 in there, and I will do that just as soon as I conclude this video. Matter of fact, I'm writing myself a note right now because I do have that data to share with you. So that will be on there when you view this. Vocabulary, some of the common misconceptions our students will do. Vertical alignment, this is a huge one for A2C, 3B, and 3C. You can see there's alignment with 8th grade, graphing proportional relationships, interpreting unit rate as the slope of the line. 8.4C, using data to determine the rate of change or slope, y-intercept. 7.4B, calculating unit rates. 6.6C, representing a verbal situation. 14 days on this unit. This is a big one. Again, the heavy emphasis are on A2C, 3B, and 3C since they are essential readiness standards. Probably that checkpoint will not be a factor on this because you probably have already gotten through that. Instructional strategies, you can see October 9th, we are advocating some blended instruction, a station rotation. The intervention WIN lessons, September 27th, October 2nd, and October 9th. You can see are listed there. Language supports that we are providing for you, some of the sentence stems that you need to utilize. Our resource showcase on this. I go to McGraw-Hill, and I know some of you don't like McGraw-Hill. It's a little bit old school, but I do think some of their slides, especially their slide decks, have some merit on the instructional piece. And so I go to McGraw-Hill here just to make sure that you're not overlooking a resource that you really might fall in love with. There are within all of the McGraw-Hill slide decks, and this is 3B, rate of change. There are a warm-up that you can pop up on the board for your students to work as they come in the classroom. We do, of course, talk about the targeted TEKS here, 3A and 3B. It does give you basically where the kids are at and what you're trying to accomplish today, your objective, I guess you could call it. Vocabulary that you'll need to utilize. The formulas. What I like about the McGraw-Hill is that it gives you, if you're a teacher that likes to utilize the I do, we do, you do format, which you can argue the merits of that. I won't argue that either way. To me, I think that instructional strategies, the more variety that you use, the better. So the McGraw-Hill slides do a nice job of giving you a format of things that you can do as an instructor, and then things that you can say to your students with the check your progress that they should do. So basically I look at these and I say, okay, here's an example. I can do this as an I do. I can model this for my students. I can do a think aloud so that the kids know what I'm really trying to do here. Then I can come back to them and say, okay, we're going to do this one together. And we can do that together. And here's one now you can go ahead and do yourself. So I like that format. And I don't want you to overlook a resource that some of you might say, hey, I really do like that. That's not bad. So anyway, that's the McGraw-Hill from this. There are intervention and extension activities, especially for all three of our WIN days, all three of our A3B, 2C, and 3C days. Again, remember the acronym WIN just stands for what I need. So if you have a kid that's advanced and needs to be pushed a little bit, you've got some extension activities there. If you have a student that's struggling a little bit or that you want to do some intervention work, there's some Nearpod things. I chose the Nearpod heavily for the intervention piece because Nearpod has a very good instructional component. There's frequently a video in there, but if nothing else, their explanations are solid. You can see the calendar. This, of course, is getting us into the end of the first quarter. And of course, the personnel that you can tap here. Again, I'm Bob Weber, working with Algebra 1, and the other folks listed here. If you need some additional assistance, please contact us. We love to come out and team teach or to prepare materials or just to talk strategy with you. Good luck with Unit 3-4A.